Hey guys, how's it going? I want to share with you some fun moves that I covered with many of you this week regarding the frog pose and Malasana squat, which are variations affecting very similar muscle patterns in your hip, in your thigh. So we're going to take a little walk through that and help you get moving, show you how this can be implemented easily and things to look out for as you're going into these postures to make a smooth transition. Now, these postures can be pretty challenging if you've never really done them before, and that's because you're tapping into muscle tissue that hasn't had enough experience getting to move around. So let's have some fun, let's relax, let's learn here, and let's dig deep into your frog and your Malasana squat. So let's get started, guys. Now, we're going to start with frog pose, which is a traditional yoga pose where you're on the floor. Okay, you want to get your knees spread apart, and you're going to have your feet pointing outward. You can see that's my foot back there. Okay, it's pointing outward, and now I am allowing my body mass to sit in the hips and spread this muscle tissue apart to open the inner thigh and hips. You're gonna really start feeling that stretch. Now, if you're not used to this position right away, you're probably feeling, "Ooh, wow, this is a tough pose to handle." It is. It always has been a challenging pose for me and for many folks that practice yoga. This is one of those 5,000-year-old patterns that was developed by ancient yogis because they knew then that this is a great area you need to activate. And I love applying it to MoreMobileYoga because now more than ever, people are stuck in chairs. You have anti-chair training. This is a great way to open up your hips and activate new muscle tissue and stretch. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my angle over so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, I got my knees apart. Okay, feet are at that angle. And I have my hands on the ground, and I'm allowing myself to push back. And you're really going to feel some intensity in the stretch as you push back. And then as you push forward, right, that pressure kind of relieves itself, but it sends up higher pressure into the hip up here. When you lean back, you start to feel more of the pressure ramp up in the inner thigh area. And as you lean forward, the pressure kind of rolls a little higher into the hip. Okay, so it's good to kind of move back and forth to get that pattern built in and learn how the pressure changes as you move one direction or the other. Okay, now in addition to this, you might want to work on putting your elbows on the ground, or kind of reminiscent of a plank, right? But you got your knees still very wide apart. Okay, maybe you move it a little bit forward, maybe you move it a little bit back. Okay, I realize this is kind of like an awkward looking position to be in, so this is why we have a personal practice to improve our yoga. We want to make sure that we are exploring and getting stronger, and sometimes that means putting ourselves in awkward positions. That's just how it works, folks. This is how we get better. So extend forward now. As we get advanced in this posture, we might want to work on additional hip rotations from this position. So let me show you. Work on rotating that foot up and back. I'm experiencing an internal hip rotation as I raise this leg up, right? Do the opposite side as well. You want to balance those out. And the challenge here is being able to maintain hip stability so you're not favoring one side or compensating. It's very easy for us to sink into one hip to allow mobility to be enhanced on the other, but you want to avoid that. So keep your hips in a strict position while you raise up that backside leg. Okay? And you could try it from a lower angle here, slightly different, but you're still hitting the same muscle groups. Always try and find ways to expose movement to new angles if possible, as long as you're doing it safely. Right, so from this side, bingo, lifting up, all right, lifting up, all right, maybe you're getting both in at the same time, doubly hard, hold it for a while, try holding these positions if you can, maybe get to sit up higher, Then you drop them back down. Okay? Awesome. Okay, so we just covered some great stuff with the frog pose where we're on the floor. Now we're gonna go into Malasana. Okay, so Malasana is a squat. You want to start off. Now I like to introduce people to this slowly. You're gonna go into a squat position and you want your toes pointed outwardly. And you want to be able to squat down low enough. I like to put my hands on the ground first and make sure that I'm comfortably getting low and giving my body time to understand this position that I'm trying to take on here. And then if you're comfortable down there with your hands and you're feeling good, now you're ready to adjust yourself. Okay, so now here we are in a full Malasana squat. What's going on is my feet are pointed outward along with the knees pointed outward. We are in maximum flexion, right? Very high flexion going on in our hip, our knees, and our ankles all at the same time. So it's pretty intense. And what I'm doing is I'm using my elbows to help create distance against the knee. So the knee area here is pushing against the elbow, and the elbow is pushing against the knee. We're creating some dynamic resistance. You also want to make sure you're elevating your spine. So as you're getting better at this pose, your spine is elevating upward. Let me shift my angle here. You might be down low. You want to try to elevate this, get a nice straight back, and keep this Malasana squat. Now, we were just doing frog. We're hitting similar muscle groups in the inner thigh, but now we're doing it from our feet in a upward facing position. Okay, now that's how you get into this position. When you get more advanced into the posture, you start doing things like rocking back and forth between both sides to really experience even more capacity in each joint. So I'm rocking side to side, slightly forward, slightly back, trying to keep my spinal column straight and stable, focusing on some micro rotations in the hip, your knee, your ankle, and that deep flexion. If I really lean forward and into that, deep flexion in the ankle. When I lean back and I lean into the other leg, deep flexion on that ankle, right? So we're on this side, you can feel, hey, we're leaning to one side, we're leaning to other. Now, if this is too much for you, just work on this stable position. But as you progress, this is the direction you should be able to go in. Okay. So then when we start combining these two, if you're in frog, you're out here working. All right, feel that flexibility. Move back, tilt it up, right into Malasana. Frog, Malasana. Frog, Malasana. Right on. So hey, give this stuff a shot. You got any questions? Email me at MoreMobileYoga@gmail.com. Check out my Instagram, K.JamesIRL. Comments, questions, leave them below. I'd be happy to respond, and get your More Mobile Yoga on. This is all part of the anti-chair training system at More Mobile Yoga. Help people break free from old movement patterns so you can get stronger, move with fluidity, and improve your quality of life. We're here to help you get moving. So have yourself a great day.